All right. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon office half hour with me, Jessica, the world's most productive nurse practitioner. You probably have become familiar with this view because this is my desk. This is where I sit, it's where I do what I do. And over here is my month at a glance because I haven't hung it up yet, right? But see this lovely gold framed whiteboard. This is my month at a glance, and you'll see there's a whole bunch of stuff on it because I have something very exciting coming up in the next, actually, this is May and June. So it's the next 30 days at a glance. It's not one specific month at a glance. I have some really exciting things coming up that involve you and all your friends. So stay tuned for that because you're totally going to hear more about it from me. But you've been warned, right? So if you are seeing this, if you're catching this on the replay, as long as you are in that window of late May, early June 2023, this is all relevant for you, except I think I mentioned that I have a dentist appointment in there. You don't need to worry about that. But all the rest of this is relevant for you. So stay excited. So we are here. Happy to have you here. Happy to be talking about this stuff. It is our weekly office half hour where we talk about that stupid stuff, time management and charting, right? It's not anybody's favorite. It's my favorite thing to talk about, but it's not even my favorite thing to do. As much as I love to talk about it and I love to help people strategize how they could be better about it, how you could make systems kind of work in your favor, little levers that you could pull or push, or switches that you could flip or whatever to make things better for you. It's still not really like it's terrible that we even have to talk about this, right? That this is the system is not set up to benefit us. So that's terrible, isn't it? Right? But excuse me. I've got a question that was sent to me that came to me, I should say. And we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do, I want to talk about tips and tricks. I've got some tips for you. These are unexpected. These are unexpected tips, and I'm going to show. I brought props, so I'm so excited about that. I brought props for today. And what do these three things have in common, and why am I showing them to you? So the first thing is this, and I'm going to bring it right up close to the camera. Okay, so that's get a good look at that, right? So we're able to read that. Quaker instant oatmeal. This is a banana, in case you couldn't tell, right? And the third thing is, and I'm not like, I don't get endorsements or money or anything from any of these people. So this isn't a name brand thing, but it's a product thing. This is a little, why am I showing you these three things? So instant coffee, the flavor, this is just what they had at the store. Instant coffee, banana, instant oatmeal. Well, I was talking to my husband and I was telling him how excited I was. I went to Target because I am in my 40s, so of course I have to go to Target. And I got some stuff. I was out of instant coffee. So I bought some instant coffee and I bought some other things. And I was like, oh, I'm set for lunches for like the week at the office because I just got this stuff. I'm going to shove it in the drawer and it's going to be ready for me when the time comes. My husband, opposites attract, and my husband does not view time the same way that I do. He loves the opportunity to cook a meal and to really enjoy it, and that's great. I love a great meal, but I also love my time. So great meals are not 3 meals a day, right? If I'm lucky, I get one great meal a day. One great meal a week is enough for me, right? I just need to eat. I need food, right? But other than that, I need to get my stuff done. So that's where these three things come into play. So when I am on the clock, when I'm working, I get hungry, obviously, right? And I just need to check things off the list. I just need to get things done. So this is a tip. This is part of how I do what I do, how I manage to stay running on time, how I manage to get 97 to 100% of my charts closed same day for 4 quarters in a row. That's an entire year in a primary care practice is through stuff like this, right? So it's not always about like writing a better note. It's not always about like rushing a patient along the visit. Sometimes it's these things that are like the connective tissue that are around that surround all the other things that we do. So when it comes to getting a cup of coffee, if it's a Saturday and I'm having brunch or something, yeah, I want a delicious cup of coffee. I might get, a cappuccino, something that's going to take time to prepare. But when it's during the work week, I need to get down to business. So for me, that's instant coffee. And it's not the best cup of coffee I've ever had. It's not bad, all things considered, but it's not great, right? But it's fast and it has caffeine. And those are the two things, those are the boxes that I need to check. So I heat up some water, takes hardly any time in the kettle. Maybe someday I'll do a little video and kind of show you how I do it. But you've seen instant coffee before. It's really nothing to it. So, I take a couple spoonfuls of granules, I put them in a cup, I put hot water over it, I stir it up, and I'm good to go. And that's why I use this product. And again, this is not, I feel like I'm like on Star Search or Price is Right or something. It's not like that. But I use this product because it has the cream and sugar built into it, but it's shelf stable. Okay. So I can get this and it's good for like a month as opposed to like a little thing of creamer that might be good for a week or 2 weeks or something in your fridge. This, all I have to do is put a couple spoonfuls in with my regular granules, heat it up, drink it up, good to go, right? I will put it now I'm really, really pulling the screen back. I will put it in my Starbucks cup and so it's insulated. And this is from my breakfast. So sorry, it's not gross. That's not mold. Don't worry, I'm fine. But I'll put it in this and then it stays hot, right? So if I get pulled off task or I have to do something other than drinking a cup of coffee, I still have what I need, right? And I don't have to go back to the well. I don't have to go get another cup of coffee. I'm good. It's checked off the box. The box is checked off the list. So that's something that helps with my time management. That helps me to get my charting done, right? You didn't think that we were going to be talking about instant coffee. I had diverticulitis years ago, 2013, I think. And it was terrible. I mean, it was super, super painful. I was lucky, I didn't have a perforation or anything, but it was really, really painful. And once, I got through the course of antibiotics and all this, and then the dust settled and I was kind of back to normal. This is before I was a nurse practitioner. And I had my visit in primary care for the emergency department follow-up. And I realized I was not eating anything even close to enough fiber, like not even close. So I was like, I never, ever want to feel that pain again. It was a terrible experience. And, it could have been worse too. Could have perfed, but it didn't, but it was still pretty bad. So I said, okay, I am going to just make sure that I hit my targets for fiber every single day, right? Well, I also like efficiency. So what is the way that I can get my fiber taken care of that is efficient, that does not require refrigeration, that does not require any kind of special packaging? A banana, right? So with my lunch in my office, I have just a bunch of bananas. This is my last one. I got to get more. I don't even like bananas. Like they're gross, but they have fiber. And I can peel this bad boy open, get my fiber, get other vitamins as well. And, I'm eating a fruit, right? It's not processed or anything. It's good to go. I don't have to, it's not messy. Um, Apples are good, but they're messy, right? I like clementines, but it's like the spray gets everywhere. I like a banana because it's simple and it gets the job done. I eat this, I'm not hungry anymore. I've taken another step towards my fiber for the day. I think a banana has like 3 or 4 grams of fiber in it. So it's 1 unit of fiber in my head, right? We're supposed to get like 25 to 30 as women, but it's done. Then it's done, and I can get back on track. I don't need to reinvent the wheel every single time I eat something, every single time I'm trying to hit those fiber goals. Oatmeal, instant oatmeal. I love oatmeal. I hate instant oatmeal. But you know what I love about instant oatmeal? I add hot water to this and I'm done. That's it. You put a little, like a splash. You don't even need much, right? You don't have to have milk on hand. You don't have to do any of this kind of stuff. You put hot water, the same hot water that you're using for your instant coffee. You put that on there, stir it up, eh, choke it down, and you're good to go. And when it comes to, it's got, I think, 3 grams of protein in one packet. Not as much fiber as I would think. 2 grams of fiber in one packet, but this is only like 100 calories, so I have two. But guess what? Guess what I had just before this? I had 2 packets of the strawberries and cream. Yeah. Um, I'm not here to review. I'm here to tell you these are things that help me to stay on track, right? we're all clinicians. We know that there are nutritional goals and this sort of stuff. I'd love to have like an everything bagel for lunch, right? But you can't do that every day. Also, I'll tell you why I don't have an everything bagel day every day, because I have to go to the bagel shop and I have to stop what I'm doing, go to the bagel shop, stand in line. Even if I order it, even if I have it like delivered, I still have to stop what I'm doing and interact with the person who delivers it and all that stuff. And that is going to compromise me getting things done. I have a long list of things I need to do today, and going to the bagel shop, unfortunately, isn't on there. So that will wait for the weekend. And my weekend will be available to me because I made that commitment to get these things done today or during the week. So then when Saturday comes, if I want to have a cappuccino and an everything bagel, I can do that without having all of this charting and all this administrative work and all this, big stack of paperwork here waiting for me. It's good, right? It's done for the week. So those are things that I think that, you should think about when it comes to time management. It's not about getting the most out of your EHR system. That's a piece of it, absolutely. Smart phrases, smart text, AI, having a scribe, all those things, those are all really great things that will help, absolutely, with your time management. But there's a lot of hidden opportunities, and it's kind of an easy thing to swap out. It's easier for me when I'm at Target to get some oatmeal, some instant oatmeal, to get some instant coffee, to get some bananas and some other things that can stay in the office for the week that I don't have to do anything fancy with. I'm hitting some decent nutritional goals, and I'm definitely hitting my productivity goals and my time management goals because of that. So that is my pitch for why you should look at all these other things, right? Sometimes the gains that we're going to get when it comes to time management are not going to be from the places that we think that they are, right? So my oatmeal, banana, instant coffee keeps me on track, right? So, and it's easy. And I was also saying to my husband, I was all excited because I think I spent like $10 for all of it. The coffee was $5 and it makes like, I don't know, 30 cups of coffee or something. And the bananas were 25 cents each, and the oatmeal was 8 for 3 something. So, I mean, so it was also like financially, I was like, cha-ching, all right. So it was exciting. So think about that. Think of the ways, like, what is your oatmeal? What is your banana? What is your instant coffee? Where are these places where you can either double down on some of the things that you're doing or twist things, shift them just a little bit? Because if we make huge changes, that's not sustainable, right? That's really hard to do. That's hard to continue that in the long term. But where are these little shifts that we can make that are going to add up and that are going to be beneficial in the long run? Okay. So that's my point to ponder. If you saw my post, I think it was Sunday, I put it up. I also mentioned that my clothing is very consistent. I wear black all the time. I have black pants on as well. And, I'll jazz it up with like some different jewelry. That's where I'll express myself there. Because you know what? Everything I wear can go in the washing machine. I don't need to make a separate trip to the dry cleaner on a regular basis. I don't want hand wash stuff. Same reason, right? Everything goes with everything else. All the silhouettes match. Everything is just like grab and go because I don't want to invest my time. Our time is a budget. I don't want to invest my time on that. That's me. Those are the things that work for me. So some of the things that have kept me on track in a 9 to 5 setting actually happen outside of that 9 to 5 setting. So I'm sure that there are some of the same things for you, but you need to think about it a little bit and kind of uncover what that could be for you. All right, so it's question time. So recently I spoke to a group of dentists, which was interesting for me because I have pretty severe dental anxiety and had some really bad experiences, but not with any of these dentists, which was great. But I realized there is something that unites all of us as clinicians, whether we are nurse practitioners or physicians, physician associates, dentists, veterinarians, we all have to chart. There's no getting around it, right? So our charting might look a little different. Some of the particulars might be different. Dental charting is very unique, I've learned. But still, the way that that impacts our 9 to 5 and the way that that's accounted for in our schedule is often pretty consistent across these groups. And I have found that these challenges are nearly universal. They may look a little bit different if you are in primary care like me, or if you work in ear, nose, and throat, or ortho, or you're a hospitalist. There's gonna be a little twist, but these underlying pieces are really, really consistent. One of the other things that's very consistent is that no one teaches us how to do it, and we basically learn from what not to do. But when I spoke with this group of dentists recently, one of them, I did like a Q&A at the end. And one of the questions that came up I thought was a really great question. And there was this, how should I describe it? It is a great question. Let's just put it that way. And the question was, if it came down to it, if I had my choice, would I rather have 5 really complex patients with 20 different things going on and the time to cover it, so like a 2-hour visit, right? Would I rather have 5 really complex patients or 20 very simple patients? So 5 new patient visits for people who've been out of care for 5 years or 7 years and have all kinds of stuff that we know of, and a whole bunch more that we're going to uncover when we actually start doing that visit, versus like 20 sports physicals for a healthy 15-year-old, or UTIs, or really simple single focus visit. And I think that this dentist, he had the best of intentions in asking me this question, but I thought that he really thought he was going to trip me up. And my immediate response was, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I would be equally, it's as much work either way. And here's why. It's a mindset thing. So if you are coming at your day with this perspective that the glass is half full or the glass is half empty, it is going to color how you navigate, and what you think becomes reality, right? So if you have only 5 patients, but they're complex, but you've got 8 or 9 hours to get this work done, and you say, oh my God, there is absolutely no way that I can get this done. Look at how long it's been since they've been seen by anybody. Look at all these different concerns they have. Look at all these medications they need to have filled, and I'm going to have to do so much of a reconciliation and blah, blah, all that. And then how long is it going to take me to document all that? If that is your perspective, then it is going to bear out that it is going to take you a long time, and you will be there. You'll run late, even with 5 visits. You will be there until 10 o'clock at night. On the flip side, if your mindset is such that you say, well, all right, I've got these 5 complex patients, and I am going to really need to go into each of these visits with a game plan. I am going to need to go into each of these visits with a little bit of flexibility also, because there are probably surprises waiting for me, right? But I can do this, and I've got all day to do it. Whether they were all booked one right after the other, and then I had the whole afternoon to do my charting or my labs or whatever else I needed to do, or whether they were booked each an hour and a half apart, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If you go into that visit with that perspective that I can get through this and I can still get done on time, I get done at 5 o'clock unless something drastic happens, and there's an emergency. But if you go into it with that perspective that I can get this done, it's going to be different, it's going to be a challenge, but I can do it. And I have the skills. I just need to kind of get my head in the game and go at it with a certain perspective. Now, on the same hand, you could have 20 really simple visits, 20 UTIs. Okay. Uncomplicated UTIs, all right? So it's not pyelo or anything like that. And it's not somebody with like kidney failure or a bunch of medication allergies, like 20 super simple visits. That can be challenging too, right? So like, okay, so UTI visit, I like to have the person rooming the patient, like if we have a suspicion for a UTI, I'm going to want to get a UA. I'm probably going to send it for culture. So let's get a clean catch before I even go in, and dip it before I go in. I might even wait to see the results of the dip before I walk in with the patient, right? And then I can go in with good news, bad news, and a plan. And we can talk about anything else we need to maybe talk about. But these symptoms, it's going to be pretty clear. So that's me. But even if you've got 20 of those and you've got 20, you're going to have the UA done before you even go in, you're going to have the results of the dip, you're going to send it for a culture just to be sure, all this stuff. If you have a mindset that is like a fixed mindset, because there are two ways that the mindset can go, fixed or growth. So fixed is glass is half empty. There's no way it could ever be full again. What are we going to do? We don't have enough water to go around, right? That's a fixed mindset. And a growth mindset is the glass is half full. We've got a little bit of work cut out for us because we don't have a full glass of water, but it's half full. We got half of it, so we can work with this, right? So that's kind of a very, very quick version of how those two mindset pieces go. But if you have that fixed mindset, and even with 20 simple visits, with otherwise healthy patients, uncomplicated UTIs, nobody even has any medication allergies, right? So you could just give them all the same thing, like give them all Bactrim or something, right? If you think, but I've got 20 patients. Oh no, what if they end up needing to talk about something else? What if in the process of doing this UA, I find out like maybe they do have pyelo, or what if they what if they are also currently having their period and so there's some blood in the urine? Oh no, what do I do then? Right? Like, so you're going to find ways to kind of get in your own way and make it more challenging than it needs to be. So if that's your mindset, it doesn't matter if you have 5 patients that are complex, if you have 20 patients that are simple, you're going to find a way to make it hard for yourself. But if you have a mindset that says, I can roll with it, I can be flexible, I can sometimes eat my instant oatmeal for lunch instead of something really delicious, then you're going to get through it. You're going to be okay. And you're going to be a little less stressed. You might be challenged. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean you're just going to sail through it, because these are people and they can be unpredictable, and healthcare can be unpredictable. And that's part of what I like about it. But the way that you come into it, your perspective and your point of view, and I'm not saying that one is right and that one is wrong, but I am saying there's a difference and it kind of trickles down. So if you believe you can or you believe you cannot, you're right. I read that somewhere. I don't know. It's probably who knows who wrote it. It sounds corny. It's like overly simplistic, but you know what? It's true. Think about it. So think about that for yourself. But think about that for maybe colleagues that you've worked with that have just, no matter what they do, they've got all the templates in Epic, they've got all the smart phrases, they did this, that, the other, and they still somehow just cannot manage to get through even simple visits without running behind. Maybe it's the way that they're approaching it. We can fix and change. Now, I don't want to say fix, because I don't want to say that anybody's wrong, but we can change our mindset. It's absolutely changeable. Some work to do it, but it can be done. But the first thing you have to do is recognize where you are. So I loved this question from this dentist for the same reason, that it kind of, he maybe thought there's a right answer. Just like everything in healthcare, there's not really a right answer. There's a best answer, right? When we take tests in school, what's the best answer? Because they're all right. Or what's the next thing that you would do? Because you're going to do all these things, but which do you do first? So I don't know if this dentist, there were a lot of questions. So I didn't have a chance to talk to him about like what prompted that question, but I loved it. Loved the question. And I don't know if he thought that there was maybe a right answer. And that might say something about like his mindset, right? And where things, the way that he tends to approach problems or situations and problem solving. But when you can have that flexibility and when you can kind of bend your knees a little bit, right? And kind of surf it and not be so locked into place, you're less likely to tumble. Just write that down. I just came up with that right now. It makes me think of, I use analogies a lot. Hopefully that works for you, because I kind of can't help it. But I think of a dog trainer that I've worked with Phyllis up here, who you can see. The bottom, she's a little bit cut off, but this is Phyllis up here. And I worked with a dog trainer, and she said, "Oh, when you're around, especially around puppies," but Phyllis is a yellow lab, and if you're around, especially a bigger dog like a lab, and they're very excited and they're running around, don't ever lock your knees. Like, always have your knees soft and a little bit bent, because if you have your knees locked, sooner or later they're going to collide with you. They're going to the dog's going to be playing and they're just going to knock into whatever's in their way. And if you don't have your knees bent and you're not ready for that, you're going to go down. And it was great advice for dog training, but it's also great advice for life. And it definitely applies to our issues of time management and charting. It applies to healthcare, working in the healthcare setting and getting through your day. You have to have your knees a little more bent if you want to not take that tumble, because something is going to collide with you. And sometimes those 20 simple patients can still knock you down. And sometimes those 5 complex patients, you can kind of navigate it a little bit, right? And kind of find your way through it if you have your knees a little bit bent, if your mindset is a little bit closer to glass half full instead of glass half empty. Okay, so thank you, Dr. DDS, for that awesome question that I think is a really useful tool to think about these sort of things and consider how the way that we look at a problem really has a lot to do with the way that we solve it. So, we're just about done with our office half hour for this week. I am excited to have had the opportunity to use my little props. I thought of it just before we sat down here. Um, Excited to have had the opportunity to use those props to make my point, and I think that I think it's a good one. I hope you think it's a good one too. Happy to be here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. with you. Like and subscribe if you are catching this on the replay. You can like and subscribe and make sure that you get all of these in the future directly to you. If you have questions that you would like to have answered, or you would like to do some one-on-one free live coaching, join us on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. For the office half hour. You can send questions to me also via email or via direct message, and let me know what you would like to know more about, what you are maybe having a little bit of trouble with. You can stay anonymous if you like. Some of you have done that already. I love it. And otherwise, I will see you next week. And I'm so glad that you're here, and keep coming back.